Across Africa, a new generation of Africans birthed. This is a generation that questions everything from liberation movement to political involvement of the youth. Now they're asking, why is it that those who fought for liberation for the younger generation in time past are nowhere to be found? And worse still, they're in power and cannot even provide basic amenities and opportunities for the younger generation. And so they're tired and they're angry and they're asking the right questions. Now, across Africa, this is happening. In Mozambique, for example, the youth have risen and they're asking the critical questions and challenging political power. And bringing it back to Nigeria, the election in 2023 taught us a very pivotal lesson, and that is the youths are tired of being led wrong. This started from the digital space and became a global movement. And of course, this is happening across South Africa, Zimbabwe, Angola, you name it. Today, we are challenging authorities. We're challenging and putting the questions to power. What exactly is happening to those in power? And what exactly is happening to youth involvement across the African continent? Today, I have amazing guests who are here to help me dissect this conversation. Various students represented right here at News Central Television from various schools. But before we go into the conversation, here's an explainer video. Take a look.
Across Africa, a quiet but powerful political shift is unfolding. A new generation of young Africans is beginning to question the relevance of liberation and establishment parties that once fought for independence but now struggle to deliver jobs, dignity, and real opportunity. From Southern Africa to West Africa, many young people feel locked out of power, disconnected from aging political elites, and frustrated by decades of unfulfilled promises. In Mozambique, youth-driven opposition movements have taken to the streets, protesting disputed elections and worsening economic conditions. In Nigeria, the 2023 elections showed the growing strength of young, digitally organized movements capable of challenging long-entrenched political structures. Similar tensions are surfacing in South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Angola, and Namibia. Signs of deeper cracks in political systems, once seen as unshakable. Today on Fafanua Afrika, we ask a critical question. Are Africa's liberation parties losing their grip on power? And are young people, technology, and rising demands for accountability shaping a new political future for the continent?
Well, there you have it. Across the African continent, a movement has been birthed. The youth are asking the critical questions. Some will call it restlessness, but a lot of people will tag it resilience and speaking truth to power. This is Fafanua Afrika, the show that spotlights the youths, that challenges their opportunities, and of course, prefers profound solutions to some of these challenges that they face. So buckle up and get ready for 1 hour of an insightful conversation. My name is Blessings Mosugu, and I will be your host on this show today. Now, as I will always say, it's not about to be a monologue. I have amazing students joining me from across different schools right here in Lagos, Nigeria, to help dissect this conversation and find out what exactly is happening and why the sudden awakening. Well, you're about to find out from the horse's mouth. So very quickly, we go straight into the conversation. First question, why do you think that the youths across Africa, and not just even Nigeria, are suddenly awake and asking the right questions and challenging those in power? Who would like to go first? Okay.
My name is Arimo Rachel. I'm a student of Nigerian Institute of Journalism. And I feel like the reason why they are doing this is because they are not seeing the results in which we're expecting them to.
My name is Reko Victoria, representing Lagos State University. So I would say our political leaders were shaped by colonial oppressions and sufferings. And we, the new generations, we are not shaped that way. We don't think that way. We didn't get to suffer what they suffered. So we are more shaped by corruptions, by the injustice, by the insecurity and lack of opportunities and employment. So that's what's the cause. That's what caused the awakening for we.
My name is Fafanua Afrika. I'm from Unilag. So first of all, me, I get to believe that the impacts and the fact that we have internet and social media now actually has more impacts in this, because with social media, a lot of things can be easily seen by a lot of people compared to the early 90s, and a lot of people now have access to social media. So these problems like security, corruptions are not new problems that are just emerging. There are problems that have been existing for a while. However, the fact that we have social media and many people have access to it makes it making it for people to get to know that a lot of things are happening in our society. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, very quickly, let's talk about how these youths are even able to mobilize without state fundings or political godfathers. Because long ago, you would think that to be able to have this magnitude of numbers and responses, you would need somebody backing you. But the elections and the movements that we've seen, especially here in Nigeria, has shown that the youths can achieve whatever it is that they want to without any form of backing. So the next question, why do you think, or how do you think that these youths were able to mobilize so much without any state funding or political godfathers?
I am Abbas Malika Toluwafumilaya from Lagos State University, and I feel like the country has revolutionized. Social media and every other digital means is taking over the world now, and the youth, we are trying to beat down the big duo, the two political parties that are really governing us right now. So we are using digital means and other means in order to beat the big duos down, and we are really tired of godfatherism and all those things. And I feel like the youth are trying to wake up, and we feel that the leaders in power now are not trying to are not trying to trust us with power, because they are still the same faces that has been since 1999 up till date. So I feel the youth are waking up, and we are using like digitalized means to beat down the godfatherism and all.
My name is Sarah Adiola from University of Lagos. So, to my own opinion, when you're ready for something, you put in effort to achieve it. That's what is happening amongst the youth of Nigeria and Africa today. A readiness to break the oath of, oh, our fathers are the ones who are meant to be interested in politics. I'll use myself as an example. I used to think politics was meant for the older people, and they are the ones who are meant to be there. But when I was working towards gaining admission, I told myself, I want to get into politics. And how? Going online, searching through, and I saw, oh, political science can give me that leadway to achieving that, or to attaining that goal. It's just the readiness that we are tired of them having to go through the same circle over and over again. And for results to happen, we are ready to sponsor ourselves all round. I mean, I could literally ask someone to hotspot me just because I want to reply to a tweet of a governor or the president. That's the readiness, the force that we have to make that change happen.
Right, Banisoni Mosugu from Lagos State University. We are beginning to get horrific facts. We don't need godfatherism when we have so many people, so many youth out there. Nigerian governance is not based on permutation, if I'm correct. They will sit in the corner of a room and say that this is who we want to be the next governor or to be the next leader. When we have youth out there that are striving to hold positions to ensure that they serve the country genuinely. We are beginning to question why the Chapter 2 of the Constitution are saying they are non-justiciable rights. Why will you tell me that the governor are not carrying out the responsibility and we cannot sue them to court? We are beginning to ask this question. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Austin Precious from Nigerian Institute of Journalism. So I feel youths come online on social media to talk about we not being comfortable with the godfatherism and all, because it's not even safe for you to you can't even question them. That's the thing. You can't question why do the same set of people come in every time. But we are trying to wake up. We are trying to come as a group to stop that. And I feel we coming out on social media is the only way we'll be able to do that, because it's not even safe to question them. You don't have the power, you don't have the resources. So I feel we coming out on social media is the only way we'll be able to voice out and tell them enough is enough. We don't want this. We want pressure people. We want the youths to take over.
Thank you so much. Now, my next question, at the risk of sounding very Gen Z, let's compare other countries to what is happening in Nigeria. South Africa, for example, the youths got tired and they spoke truth to power. They didn't stutter. And it was given, we're tired of bad governance. And they did see it change, even if it was missing, but they did see a change. But then you would ask, what exactly is the difference between South Africa, Mozambique, and other African countries and Nigeria? Now, some would say that Nigerian government is more stubborn than other African countries because look at it. We've had a series of protests, so many different things, but yet we see youths being charged for treason because they spoke out. So my next question, how would you differentiate the protests that is going on in other African countries with the one happening right here in Nigeria?
Thank you so much. I am Toba the Sumo. And you see, this conversation we're having right now, after some minutes now, and whenever we are living here, I know most of us will have forgotten it. The problem about us is we don't take things serious in this country. You know, it might look like an insult, but that's the truth. After this conversation, I'm very sure that that's the end of the whole thing. Nobody is taking that, reformation in mind that, oh, I was at this place today and these are our discussion and I want young people like me or someone that is younger than me to also learn. But that's not the end. So we felt like if it's about whiskey, it's about Davido, it's about Burna Boy, it's about Shanks and all those nonsense things online. All of us, we sit to it. If you go and look at this, the algorithm or the metrics of what is happening in the entertainment industry, and when we're talking about our future, the distance is very, very far. It's not like something is very close by. It's like what an opposite. So now we as young people in Nigeria, we need to also take charge of our future because the reason why we are able to enjoy right now is because what our forefathers, what people at the past has preserved us is what is working for us. For example, let me use LASSO as a case study. There was a time LASSO school fees skyrocketed to 250,000 naira. And the union then stand up for everyone and said, no, this is too much. Where do you want these guys to see the money? In fact, since has not even as cost as this. So the union stand up for us, and for someone like me, I paid 25,000 naira all through my school year. And I also get bursary from Lagos State government as an indie Lagos. So now, if those guys didn't stand up for us, if they didn't do what they need to do, will I enjoy? Absolutely no. But how many of us are ready to sacrifice? If you ask each and every one of us, what are we doing differently to change the status quo? You just keep saying the government. What are we doing personally? Even though you can't initiate things personally, we can collaborate, we can work with person. New Central Africa now is a team of people. If you go outside there, you showcase as you are working with New Central Africa, and these are your contributions. You don't have to be the boss or the top person. But what you are doing right now with us, is also a contribution. So we all need to collectively, look into all this matter and also take charge of our future because at the end of the day, our children will ask us question. Daddy, when this country was going like this, what are you doing? Mommy, are you just there looking at them? Are you just saying it's not going to work and you just assume it's not going to work? So the main thing is collective responsibility, and collective responsibility will make us to achieve a greater goal in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Apologies for interrupting the answers, but I want to beef up this question with a scenario that happened recently. Now, in Lagos, Nigeria, an American YouTuber and streamer came visiting, and one would see something that people would call a show of shame. People's alleged role models were lining up to see this person. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with it, but then can we equate that level of energy to the same energy that we see for the NSAS protest, the End Bad Governance protest, and even for protesting against bad governance in general? So the question still remains, how exactly do we ensure that Nigerian youths are taking seriously the same way other African youths are?
Good afternoon. My name is Digbomo Moses. I'm a student of UNILAG Political Science Department. First of all, the reason why I think Nigerian youths are not taken seriously as compared to a lot of youths in Africa, first of all, is the ability to stay through trials. Now, anytime we go through anything that involves a particular issue, we are quick to run away from it. Now, the NSAS process was a terrible time for Nigeria. It was something that caused the death of many people and was crazy in the likes because that was a first of its kind in Nigeria's history. But it is not a first of its kind when it comes to African history. Kenya, for example, 2024, that was when William Ruto wanted to increase tax, the tax bill that was motivated by the IMF loan that he wanted to collect. That caused a lot of issues in Kenya. There were protests, there were rallies and the likes, tear gas, killing of people, and at the end of the day, that law itself was amended. There was change. This change might not be the most fundamental of changes, but there was change. Look at Algeria, for example. They had a peaceful protest, the most peaceful of them all, because as compared to other people when they wanted to remove their president, Fafanua Afrika. Now, that particular protest was one where they were fighting a party that ruled the country since independence in 1962. But at the end of the day, they had him removed. Now, I'm not saying that much has changed, but I'm saying that at least their efforts bore fruit. There might still be a ruling class in Algeria, that's the La Pouvoir, which is military officers and that network of the likes, but there was change. We are easy to run away and move away from the direction of change. And one thing that needs to be spoken, or one thing that needs to be pointed out, is that change is not easy.
Right, Banisoni from Lagos State University. Something that I feel it's very very common among Indian youth is that we adapt to the situation quickly. When a law is being made, we make protests. We don't get the results. We just adapt to it that, yes, let's just take it. When the new tax law reform was released, we didn't do any protests. We law students were like, this is not right. This is not correct. We're meant to do this. This is harsh. This is not okay. But not everybody will resonate to that aspect. We need to ensure that when issues are raised, we support. When there are problems, we don't just adapt to the situation. Instead, we stand tall and tell our governments, this is not right and this is what we want, because we are the citizens you are governing. Thank you.
She made a very salient point, and we'll come back to the topic of legal understanding or even education, or the lack of it thereof right here in Nigeria. But one very pivotal point, we talked about the challenges of the youths themselves, what they're not doing, their deeds and misdeeds. But let's focus our lenses on governance. Now, many people would say that the government of Nigeria borders on tyranny and oppression. And need I even remind you some of the things that happened in the past? So do we now say that other African countries compared to Nigeria is not as brutal? Because I mean, across the African countries, you'd hear things like, your freedom of speech is guaranteed, but your freedom after your speech is not guaranteed. And we've seen a lot of instances where reporters go missing or even arrested for saying things and speaking truth to power. So then again, what is the role of governance in the lack of ability for these young people to express themselves?
I'm Rukayat, that's coming from the University of Lagos. I'm a student of political science. So like I used to say, I believe that power resides where we believe it resides. So once we believe that power resides where it's supposed to reside, and where we believe it resides, then we start to take action from there. Okay, let me give you like an instance. In South Africa, like since 1994, ACD has been the party, like ruling party and all of that. But they lost their parliamentary majority this year, which is very, very weird. It means they are waking up and the youngies are now realizing that we are being oppressed. Straight back to Nigeria. If I would give reference to the colonial system, the colonialists left an oppressive trait that our leader literally adopted. Yeah, it was not an organic trait. It was an oppressive trait because Nigeria didn't come organically. It was forced. So we've accepted that one, that, okay, that's our fate. And now we want to fight against it. Now is when the youth, the people actually believe that, okay, power resides in us. We can make decisions because we put these people there. It was our vote, even though it was being rigged, but it was our vote. We put them there so they can come together to fight against whatever. You know, the governments can't do anything because they're the oppressor. They wouldn't want to live there, to be very honest. No matter, all of them, they're all the same. They wouldn't want to live there. So we are the one that needs to come together, you know, waxing our strength and all of that so we can fight against the old brouhaha that is happening in the country. Or else, I don't think there is anything good that's going to happen because this current ruling party and the next, they are all the same, to be very honest.
All right, before we go ahead, you're still live with us on Fafanua Afrika, and this is a show that spotlights the youth, their challenges, and their opportunities, and this conversation is nowhere near done. So stick around because we go on a short break, and when we come back, Blessings Mosugu is still here with this amazing student doing justice to these conversations.
Across Africa, a quiet but powerful political shift is unfolding. A new generation of young Africans is beginning to question the relevance of liberation and establishment parties that once fought for independence but now struggle to deliver jobs, dignity, and real opportunity. From Southern Africa to West Africa, many young people feel locked out of power, disconnected from aging political elites, and frustrated by decades of unfulfilled promises. In Mozambique, youth-driven opposition movements have taken to the streets, protesting disputed elections and worsening economic conditions. In Nigeria, the 2023 elections showed the growing strength of young, digitally organized movements capable of challenging long-entrenched political structures. Similar tensions are surfacing in South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Angola, and Namibia, signs of deeper cracks in political systems once seen as unshakable. Today on Fafanua Afrika, we ask a critical question: are Africa's liberation parties losing their grip on power? And are young people, technology, and rising demands for accountability shaping a new political future for the continent?
The debates continue on and off air. We're trying to find out what exactly has gone wrong or right with the youth across the African continent. And these amazing people behind me have been doing justice to this very conversation. Now we see that a new Africa is being birthed, an Africa where young people are asking the right questions. And we continue with the conversation today on Fafanua Afrika. What has changed? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Fafanua Afrika, and we're still discussing the liberation and, of course, democracy in Nigeria and across Africa from the lens of the African youth. So, before we went on break, we had asked a series of questions. And one of the questions that stood out is, what has changed? What are the youths doing differently? And what is the government doing differently? Now, we had some people who wanted to speak before the break, and we'll just go straight to them.
My name is Bakari Blessing Ebuku. I'm a student of University of Lagos. So far, so good. The youth are trying to speak up, but we forget that apart from political oppression, we have different type of oppression in the country that affects the youth. Example are some cultural, some cultural beliefs and some influence from our parents and our fathers and mothers in different space. Even in academic space, there are sometimes you want to speak. Even if you are right, they say, okay, this person's older than you, just keep quiet and listen, even if you are right. So now let's think about somebody with a more bigger and larger power. How then would what we say really matter to them? So the oppression is beyond just what the government are doing. It's also getting to the part of what adults in the country are also doing.
My name is Ajibadola Remo. I'm a student of University of Lagos. So in my own opinion, I feel like there is a change and there's a paradigm shift in what is happening in Nigeria or African countries. So when we're saying we are comparing Nigeria to countries like Mozambique and South Africa, I think we are getting there too, because let's take for instance the EndSARS protest. During the EndSARS protest, the youth protested, and then there was a policy that abolished the SARS that they brought about, and then that was like a progress to what the awareness of youth and the activeness. And let's say for instance to this Obidient movement on Twitter, this Peter Obi and what have you. So it brought about more consciousness about political activities to the youth. Or let's take for instance this 2019 general elections and this 2023 general elections that we just concluded. You see that the level of proactiveness of youth is very, very high compared to the 2019 one. So it will be for the 2027 general elections.
Thank you very much. Olafin Ali is my name. And looking at the question that what has changed actually in Nigeria. So when we are looking at it, we have to, judge concisely by the parameter of measuring what has changed. The problem in 1960 is not the same problem we are facing here. In Nigeria currently, a 23-year-old, what a 23-year-old see as democracy is different from what they see as democracy back in the days. And moving back to what Fafanum said that the problem of post politics in Africa is not going to be that they are not able to liberate, but the problem is that they are not able to transform liberation into social justice. And that is what we are facing today. Because a 23-year-old Nigeria has no idea, or let me say they has idea, but they never experienced colonialism in its raw form. So what we see as colonialism as a 23-year-old, 24-year-old Nigerian is that an unemployed 23-year-old Nigeria presently feels like they are not up to the task, they are not at that level. And what am I trying to say in essence is that the problem in Nigeria before now is different from the problem we have now. The problem we have in Nigeria presently is tackling the security insurgencies, economic imbalances, and that is quite different from what we are facing before. Thank you.
And now there seems to be yet another problem. Now you see that the fathers of liberation and fight against injustice seem to become complicit as soon as they get into power. Now the next question is, what is the guarantee that these youth who fight against bad governance now will do better when they get in power? After all, it's some of these youths that are being mobilized as thugs. Some of these youths are being mobilized as anti-protesters. So what guarantees that these youths would actually do better when they're in power?
Afternoon. My name is Christiana Shafef, university student, a student of University of Lagos. I feel like we the younger people, we have like younger minds compared to the people that are now there, the older minds. So we now that we are the younger generations, we have younger minds, and I feel like our brains and the way we think is different from the way the older generation thinks now.
My name is Fafanua Afrika. I'm from Unilag. So I think the process needs to be very, very checked. The process of what, how, and when, and what is the process of that actually gets you into power needs to be very, very checked. If somebody spends a lot of money to become a local government chairman, for an example, you don't expect such person to just like do the adequate stuff with resources. The person wants to like get their money back, because for you to even be qualified as a local government chairman, it means you're at least successful in a bit, be it like in financial wise or catalyst wise or whatsoever. So people should make the environment and society should make sure that the process that in which people can get into power is not as rigid, in the context of you have to like spend a lot of money before you get there, for us to have a very, very good governance. And also accountability, because if the people are not demanding accountability from the governments, there's nothing the government will really do to make the people feel okay. Because for example, now we're talking about, so yeah, there's a new tax policy, there's this, there's that, the government needs no more money. And you are saying, or some people are saying, yeah, the government need money to develop the whole country. Okay, yeah, fine. But subsidy was being removed from the petrol. What was done with the subsidy money? We still get like borrow money from a lot of ways and all. Since that means that subsidy is not being accountable for, there's no reason and we are not benefiting from that. Since we are not benefiting from that, what's the assurance or guarantee that, okay, now when we have a new tax policy and a lot of people are paying more tax, there'll be more new governments and all. So yeah, that's my point.
I feel it's individualism. Like your own person, my own person. There was a saying, I think some years ago, change begins with you, change begins with me. If, in fact, I have probability that when this generation gets there, things are going to get worse. Because now we have higher span of distraction. We don't take things seriously. There's misplaced priorities everywhere. So you need to be a better person. I need to be a better person. It starts from our classrooms, journey in the bus, our person, once they tell us something, let us try to start abiding by it, because you get to be a better person from even when you are younger. Because when you think, okay, when you're there, when you are older, when you're in power, you can change. In fact, there will be more distractions, there will be more choices to make. So we just have to work on ourselves as people, as individual.
My name is Mosugu from Nigerian Institute of Journalism. So I feel like if the youth are leading us, firstly, there's social media. The youth are they're more concerned about what people say about them. So let's say we have a president and he saw a tweet online. We'll be able to control the problems. We'll look into other things that is happening to that thing. That is even the one that are not even relevant. It's going to look into it. It's going to be able to know where the problem is coming from, stop it down a little, even if you can't do everything. At least we'll still be able to like let the problem die down a little bit. Thank you.
For want of time, we go to the next question, which is, does online revolution and digital mobilization actually translate to change?
I would say yes. And the reason I'm saying yes is that with the youth, via social media and digitalization, we tend to act like parliamentarians, judging and looking at what the current government is doing. Now let's go back to Egypt in the revolution of Egypt the other year. A single youth actually changed everything. It ended monarchical system in Egypt then. So with the youth now, I feel like yes, it is going to change. Digitalization is change, and change begins with us, just like Fejura said. So digitalization is change.
In Sarah from University of Lagos. Well, the digital revolution or your online speak does not reflect what happens in the physical world. First, let's bring you back to Nigeria. You're voting physically, you're not voting online. I, myself, I'm a keyboard warrior. I can type heaven and hell online. But when you see me to like express what I just texted you physically is like zero. I just feel like, nah, I'm not going to say that again. Check your phone. So it doesn't really reflect what you're going to do physically. That's why the government, even when you tweet, when they repost and repost, it just calls their attention and they'll look at, oh, another tweet and just keep it because no, we're not bringing that energy fully. But for the last election that happened, well, I would like to give my feedback once we have our 2027 election. Let's see if the youth, the energy they brought in first is still going to continue for that change. But online, it just informs us. We just use that to express ourselves, but the real expression is not still done in reality.
Thank you very much. I'm Olofin Aliu. So I'm not going to agree with what she said, I say, because I feel like judging theoretically, I'll go to what Claudaki said in his book. Claudaki says that a democracy that offers participation without power. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that larger population of the world, I'm not even talking about Nigeria here, I'm talking about Africa, larger population of Africa, we have the youth. We have 60% of the youth. So I feel like it is quite wrong, or not wrong per se, it is quite not on the line when we have people that are not feeling they are not feeling the ease of what the Gen Zs are feeling. I feel like if we have a representative that is a Gen Z that is leading the nation, the person knows, the person feel more of what we feel. The person can actually reflect the pain that we are actually agitating for. And also, I feel like having a youth being in power does not actually has any backside that people are actually afraid of. Someone said the other time that the youth are not going to do it better, probably because we have distraction and all of those things. I would like to drive your mind back to the time where Nigeria gained its independence. As at that time, those people that actually made that change, people that actually fight for colonization, they actually, as at that time, they are not old people. They are actually young people. And also, I would like to impute that youth ability and agitation. We have seen it in other countries. We can see example of Ibrahim Traore is a youth and is actually doing fantastically well. And if taking me back to the football team, a player is not going to get better when you continue benching them. It has been said over time that we are the leaders of tomorrow, starting for today. So if you are giving us the opportunity, we are definitely going to deliver it. And according to the social contract theory, because social contract theory says that everybody is supposed to be involved, and if eventually the person that is being involved, the person that is giving the channel to lead the train, if the person is not actually doing what you're supposed to do, there is a part in the constitution that says that you can actually withdraw. That you can withdraw prior election or protest. Thank you.
My name is Badiola Mutaya, a student of Nigerian Institute of Journalism. I want to add to what she said. She said social media change the youth opinion. Yes, because many youths now, they don't focus on what happened physically. Many of them focus on what's on social media. Many don't go out. For example, I'm an introvert. I don't like going out, I don't like party. But many of them, they're always online 24/7. When they see what's happened online, they judge it. But our government now, if we protest, they won't they won't take it serious. They'll just look at it and do as if they did not see it at all. But when the youth come in, if they start it online, people will bring out opinion, and I guess the country will be better.
So are we saying that the efforts of our keyboard warriors, that's those online, do not really match up when it comes to physical actions?
Okay, so my name is Austin Precious, a student of Nigerian Institute of Journalism. So, I would say, in as much as some people feel, when you come online, you express yourself, while others feel, they prefer it to be physical. I feel it all depends on us because we are only saying it in our own perspective. She's saying it because she's a keyboard warrior, and he is saying it because he feels like more action will be taken when you come physically. But I'm just saying, we as youths, I feel Nigerian youths, we relax on things a lot. Take for example the NSAS. We only fought for it halfway. We didn't go to the end. So be it social media, be it physically, it just depends on the people that are fighting for it, for you to get to the end of it. You can come on social media and then talk. Okay, take for example also this I think, is it Ochaya, or I don't know. Many people came online to talk about it, but what actions were made? None. Distraction. Most people do it just to like gain fame. Okay, I believe if I should come online on TikTok and talk about her, I would have a lot of views, I'll have a lot of things. So like that is what we youths mainly focus on social media. We don't fight, or we don't say things on social media to fight for our country. We say it for our own fame. We say it for our own views. But when you come physically, a lot of youths are scared to come off physically because they feel you can be, when you come off physically and you say something that is displeasing to the ears of the elders or to the politicians, you might get ambushed, you might get this and that. But it just all depends on yourself. If you are able to sacrifice, be it social media or physically.
But doesn't that now mean that we have a chicken and egg situation, which comes first? Because Ochaya's case, for example, it probably wouldn't have gained the right attention if it wasn't for social media. So what do we have to say about that?
Okay, to further buttress almost everybody's point, it's going to be bad or ignorant of us to say social media has no impact or does not add to revolution. In as much as we would like to say, oh, Gen Zs are distracted, Gen Zs like to talk, Gen Zs have no respect, I bring it to you that social media is the only way we can be seen by the world. Because of social media, we can understand what is happening in other countries. I bring it to you that our politicians understand these things, and that is the only reason why they fear us and they are still in use of social media. If it was not that important, they won't come online and start countering us or speak or passing bills that are against we expressing ourselves online. I bring to you that there's a social media that made Trump know what was happening to Christians, and other people actually also calling the attention of different rulers or leaders of the world. I bring it to you that it was social media as well that made this past Christmas traveling and all of that majorly safe. There was no kidnapping cases. There was no this, there was not that. There was not. People traveled and they are still coming back, and we've not heard anything about kidnapping.
All right, this is what we're going to do very quickly. If you believe that social media is better than physical action, please to my left. If you believe that physical action is better than social media, to my right, very quickly. Very quickly. Very quickly. Okay. Defend your point.
Okay. Okay. Like we just discussed like earlier, social media is a channel for change, but doesn't guarantee change, to be very honest. A lot of people post things on social media just to, gain views and audience. I used to say it again. Social media is pure fiction. A lot of people go on there, say this, say that, but they don't put it into action in the real world. But is that what is going to push us to where we are actually heading to? Or wherever we, picture the beautiful picture we
and the beautiful future we pictured for Nigeria. We need real action and not online paparazzi and all of that. So if we continue like that, and again, Nigeria is so good at pushing unnecessary, like we are so good at pushing unnecessary things. Like we have so much bad PR. So if we can do better at that, I guess.
All right, thank you. My name is Vanessa Nimos from Lagos State University. I think just social media is a medium or platform for change because talking about the increase in the NYSC fee, I mean the fee that they pay them, the government promised to increase it for a certain period of time, but they refused to do that. But constant reminder on social media brought about the change. Aside from that, when there is a government, there should be something called a feedback session. The government cannot be standing door to door to get response from people. The only place they can get the information accumulated is what on social media. What people are saying, what are the differences? Thank you.
All right. Okay. Firstly, if you remember during the period of President Muhammadu Buhari, he actually banned Twitter at some point, X. Yeah. So if you say social media is not important, that means the president shouldn't be concerned about whatever is happening on X. So it showcases that either physical or virtual, they are all working collectively. And nowhere, there's something I've noticed about life currently. I noticed that the more the years, the more things get tougher. In the past, just ordinarily SSC or BSc is enough for you to achieve anything in life. But moving on, BSc, SSC, career development has to add up to it. So now, if you say social media is not important, then that means the president shouldn't have banned X.
Social media revolution does not equate to physical revolution. Take it or leave it.
So if we're talking about social media now, when we're using social media, for example, your FYP might be different from my own FYP. Our FYP follows a certain algorithm for different individuals. There are some people that they just believe on certain things just because they see it. So their FYP will continuously bring in that particular thing to them, even when it's...
Okay, so mine is, there are a lot of ways we would go about it without social media. Let's take, for example, let's go back to 1960 when our fathers were fighting for independence. There was no social media then, and they were able to fight for independence. Like right now, none of the people around here can even do what they did without social media.
1 minute more.
Thank you very much. My name is Arim Rachel. I'm a student of Nigerian Institute of Journalism. I feel like we are Gen Zs. First of all, we are Gen Zs, and we are not in the era of our forefathers. We are in the new era whereby social media is everything. I can be in my house and I will get information of everything that is happening. So what do you even expect? Like, okay, let me put an example whereby something happens to the president, and how do you expect this thing to know that this thing is happening without the social media?
For communication to be effective, we need feedback. And for feedback to happen, everybody has to do feedback. How many people will sacrifice whatever they want to do to come physically, to come and protest, vote, and all of those things? I feel it should be digitalized.
How many people read newspapers nowadays? 95% of people do not. Even our fathers now, they do not. Why? Because life has become harder than it is already. The conversation continues off air, but very quickly, this is a conversation that we're having, whether or not social media is as effective and if it equates actual physical action. Thank you so much. You have been watching Fafanua Afrika, but we're not done because the debate is brewing and we want to see what these students think. Join us again on our next episode of Fafanua Afrika for wonderful conversations around the youth.